Diddy was visibly shaken in court as brand new surveillance footage showed him entering Kim Porter's room just hours before her untimely death. What's captured on that footage gives us a clearer glimpse into what may have actually happened. That night, this twist, nobody, neither Diddy nor the prosecution, saw it coming. So let me put you on real quick. We're talking jaw-dropping allegations and courtroom shockers. Now, for those who don't know, Kim Porter was Diddy's former girlfriend and the mother of 3 of his kids. Their relationship lasted from 1994 to 2007 with a few breakups and makeups in between. According to official records, Kim died of lobar pneumonia in 2018, deemed a natural death by the coroner. But here's where it gets messy. For years, whispers and speculation have surrounded the circumstances of her passing, with many suggesting something more sinister went down. Now, as Diddy faces mounting legal troubles, including accusations of abuse, trafficking, and more, the questions surrounding Kim's death are being revisited with renewed urgency. The LA County Coroner's Office did perform an autopsy and announced in January 2019 that her death was caused by lobar pneumonia, officially classified as natural. But over time, people close to Kim have stepped forward with a different take. Al B. Sure, Kim's ex and father to her son Quincy, has been especially outspoken. In a Fox 5 New York interview in May 2025, he cast serious doubt on the official story, saying she was in perfect health. We had just seen each other before she passed. We were celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was totally fine. Think about it. If someone told you your perfectly healthy friend just dropped dead from pneumonia, wouldn't you have questions too? It's like saying someone ran a marathon one day, then died of exhaustion sitting on the couch the next. It just doesn't add up. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, also has some things to say. He's gone on record saying the investigation into Kim's death was rushed. He questioned how someone with her kind of access and resources wouldn't be able to reach out to anyone during a health crisis. Deal even hinted at something darker, saying, "I don't really want to say what I believe, but I think they had a little spat, maybe a fight, and Puff was doing that play fighting stuff he always does, like pillow fighting, and might have smothered her. But I wouldn't say that on air." Let that sink in. This is Diddy's own former bodyguard dropping bombshells. That's like if Alfred started spilling Bruce Wayne's secrets. When it comes from someone on the inside, it hits different. But it doesn't stop there. There's even speculation about another mystery man being at Kim's home the day she died. None other than Corey Gamble, who most people know as Kris Jenner's boyfriend. A resurfaced photo allegedly places Gamble at Kim's residence before the coroner showed up. That's only added fuel to theories about his role in all of this, with some on social media claiming Gamble plays the role of a fixer in Hollywood's elite circles. The connections? Insane. It's giving 3 degrees of Diddy drama, not 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. To be fair, Kim's family has always denied the foul play theories. Her kids, Christian, 26, Jesse and Delilah, 17, and Quincy, 33, released a statement in September 2024 doubling down that their mother passed from natural causes. They also shut down rumors about her working on a tell-all book, but here's where the plot thickens. A book titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side dropped in 2024. It claimed to be based on Kim's personal diary, entries, and was published by Chris Todd under the alias Jamal T. Millwood. The book made wild claims, accusing Diddy of abuse and even darker behavior. When Todd appeared on The Art of Dialogue, he claimed he had tapes that, if released, could blow the lid off the entire entertainment industry. "If I drop these tapes, the whole world shuts down," he said. That's a heavy flex. Imagine holding the nuclear codes to Hollywood's secrets. Of course, the book's legitimacy has been called into question. Kim's kids have labeled it a fraud, and many are skeptical about Todd's credibility. Still, one thing's clear, Diddy is facing a wave of accusations that, when taken together, paint a very unsettling picture. And the most undeniable piece of evidence according to sources, David James, a former personal assistant, LA hotel. It's disturbing. He's seen grabbing, dragging, and kicking her. There's no denying it. Diddy had to issue a public apology. My behavior in that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility. I was disgusted then, and I'm disgusted now. Let's keep it real. When a man whose whole image is built around power, poise, and control is caught on camera being violent, that's not just a bad moment. That's the mask slipping, revealing something far more disturbing. And what happened with Cassie? That was not an isolated incident. In her lawsuit and emotional courtroom testimony, Cassie detailed years of physical and sexual abuse, painted a harrowing picture of trauma, including being coerced into situations she never agreed to, and a rape incident that allegedly happened in August 2018. The accounts she shared were both heartbreaking and unsettling. Now, let's pause for a second and address something major. Throughout this case, one term keeps popping up: freak-offs. These were said to be exclusive, secretive parties involving explicit acts. I won't get into the graphic stuff, but from what's been described, these weren't consensual events. Cassie said she felt more like a sex worker than a partner at these parties, a comment the court later struck from the record. So here's the real question. If Diddy could allegedly do this to Cassie, what might he have done to Kim Porter? Other witnesses have backed up Cassie's claims. Don Richard, a singer who worked with Diddy, testified that he once threatened to make her disappear after she saw him assaulting Cassie. That lines up with multiple claims of intimidation and control. Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura, also gave powerful testimony. She said Diddy threatened her daughter and even tried to use compromising material against her. She took photos of Cassie's bruises from Christmas Eve 2011. Really, who fool is you leaving? She says they came from beatings by Diddy. The evidence is piling up fast, y'all. Like trying to hide a lion behind a shower curtain. It's not working. Now, let's come back to Kim Porter. Aside from the coroner's report and statements from her family, that mysterious book continues to stir the pot. Chris Todd, the man behind the alleged memoir, claims Diddy broke Kim's nose on a yacht. Former Bad Boy artist Mark Curry backed this up and went even further, accusing Diddy of wiretapping Porter's phone. Curry said, when a man's going out of his way to tap someone's phone, that's not love, that's obsession. According to Todd, the book also claims Porter discovered something terrifying: videotapes locked away in Diddy's private vault. She allegedly made copies to protect herself in case she decided to leave him. Todd says he was offered access to these tapes, one allegedly involving a teenage pop star. He even claims Diddy's associates tried selling them to producers in Hollywood. If even a fraction of that is true, it's like finding a hidden vault with Hollywood's darkest secrets inside. It raises serious questions about what Kim Porter may have found and what really went on behind the scenes. But the allegations don't stop there. Diddy is currently facing serious legal charges: sex trafficking, conspiracy, and more. As of May 20th, 2025, his trial is well underway. These aren't light charges. We're talking about life in prison if convicted. Cassie took the stand for 4 days, laying out years of abuse and manipulation in painful detail. She talked about undergoing 45 days of PTSD therapy in early 2023, just to process what she went through. The courtroom was silent. You could hear a pin drop. Let's talk power for a second. Diddy signed Cassie to Bad Boy Records when she was just 19. He controlled her music, her career, and according to her, her life. This wasn't just toxic, it was a trap disguised as success. Prosecutors are using RICO laws in this case, suggesting Diddy's behavior wasn't just abusive, but part of a bigger organized operation of control and exploitation. And if this pattern is real, then Kim Porter's situation starts looking even more suspicious. Back to Curry, his claims about Diddy breaking Porter's nose aren't just isolated incidents. They point to a pattern, and where there's one cover-up, there's often more. Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal dropped another bombshell. He said Kim once injured Diddy with a corkscrew in self-defense, leaving him hooked on painkillers. Think about that. Self-defense became survival. That's not a relationship. That's war.
Deal also raised red flags about Kim's death. He claimed no autopsy was done. Her electronics were missing and, get this, a gold casket was ordered 2 months before she died. That's beyond suspicious. Al B. Sure, Kim's ex and father, of her son Quincy, took it even further. In 2024, he publicly demanded a full investigation. He claimed people close to Porter were told to steal her laptop and phone, the same devices that may have held those supposed book notes and tapes. If Porter really did keep copies of what she found, it's not far-fetched to think someone would want those devices gone after her passing. But let's not ignore the other side. Porter's family, especially her kids, have stood firm. They've said over and over that there was no foul play. They believe the official reports. Still, the timing, the missing evidence, and the growing list of allegations have many people asking, what really happened to Kim Porter? This whole situation creates a major split in the narrative. On one hand, you have former associates of Diddy coming forward with some serious accusations. On the other, you've got Kim Porter's own children standing by the official cause of her death and asking for privacy as they mourn. It's important to remember, these kids were raised by Diddy after Porter passed. Christian, Jesse, and Delilah are his biological children, and he even adopted Quincy, Porter's son, with Al B. Sure, that makes the whole dynamic complicated. They're defending the man. Many are accusing of hurting their mother, while also holding on to the official story. Now let's shift gears to another dark piece of this puzzle, the alleged tapes mentioned in Kim Porter's rumored memoir. Multiple reports claim Porter stumbled across tapes locked in a vault in Diddy's bedroom, allegedly showing him in intimate acts with various individuals. Attorney Ariel Mitchell-Kidd added fuel to the fire by saying there are 3 explosive tapes involving Diddy and A-list celebrities. She said during an interview, "Someone recently contacted me to help facilitate the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. She even claimed that tapes are already being quietly shopped around Hollywood." When asked about one of the high-profile people possibly featured on the tape, she confirmed Diddy was involved and said the other person might be even more famous. If these tapes are real, they might explain why certain people have been so eager to protect Diddy. It's like having a secret weapon. If he goes down, he's taking others with him. And let's not forget the March 25, 2024 raid on Diddy's Miami Beach mansion. Homeland Security agent Gerard Gannon testified that during the raid, they uncovered platform heels, lingerie, AR-15 rifle parts, and magazines with scratched-off serial numbers. That house was so massive, 20,000 square feet, that it took nearly 90 agents to search the entire place. So what's the connection to Kim Porter? It shows the scale of Diddy's power, multiple properties, private security, and enough clout to potentially sway situations in his favor. Now, Diddy's legal team paints a very different picture. They admit he can be aggressive, but argue his relationships, including with Cassie, were toxic but consensual. Their angle? This wasn't trafficking or criminal behavior, just messy ex-drama. But when multiple women are telling similar stories, and there's video evidence, that argument starts to fall apart. Let's go back to those alleged freak-offs from Cassie's testimony. These were said to be private, explicit gatherings where boundaries were blurred, and consent wasn't always clear. Cassie testified that she felt like she was being used as a sex worker, and if that wasn't enough, the rumored memoir from Porter supposedly backs this up. She allegedly described Diddy's parties as elaborate, intimate setups, saying everyone wanted to attend. The book even mentions encounters with other celebrities, including a well-known married woman. Now let's talk money, and the price of silence. Cassie settled her lawsuit against Diddy for a jaw-dropping $20 million, plus another $10 million settlement with the hotel connected to the 2016 incident. That's not just hush money, that's generational wealth-level payout. It raises serious questions. How much has Diddy paid out over the years to keep people quiet? But this time, money might not be enough. According to rumors, Diddy is allegedly being targeted by people with even more resources and a serious personal vendetta against him. This legal battle isn't just about one man. It's a window into how Hollywood has operated for decades. We've seen it with Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, powerful men protected by the system for years. Diddy wasn't just a music mogul. He had ties in fashion, liquor, TV, even politics. That kind of power makes it nearly impossible for victims to speak out. I mean, if you're a new artist and you witness something dark involving Diddy, who do you tell? The record label that works with him? The media that needs him for exclusives? The celebrities partying on his yacht? The system is designed to protect the powerful, not the vulnerable. And then there's the possible lawsuit that might have set all this off. According to 50 Cent, Diddy's downfall sped up after he went after Diageo, one of the biggest liquor companies in the world. In May 2023, Diddy filed a major lawsuit against them. Diddy had accused the company of engaging in a pattern of racial bias. He claimed they systematically sidelined his Ciroc vodka and De Leon tequila brands, favoring others and restricting sales in certain neighborhoods. In response, Diageo cut ties with him in June 2023, ending their 15-year partnership and stating that his actions left them with no choice. A few months later, in October 2023, Diddy fired back with another lawsuit, this time accusing Diageo of retaliation and attempting to blackball him from the liquor industry. By January 2024, however, the legal drama took a surprising turn. Both parties announced they had reached a settlement. Diddy agreed to drop all allegations, and in a joint statement, both sides confirmed that the lawsuits were being dismissed. But according to 50 Cent, that legal dispute may have been the match that lit the fire. On the Earn Your Leisure podcast, 50 Cent pointed out that Diddy's problems seemed to spiral right after he challenged Diageo. Around 1809-1830, he said, "When you saw him go at Diageo, that's when his issues really began." He went on to imply that powerful people behind the scenes may have withdrawn their protection after Diddy stirred the pot. The civil case, according to 50, might have been what tipped things into criminal territory, because Diddy made some very influential folks uncomfortable. What 50 seems to be hinting at is that going up against a powerhouse like Diageo may have cost Diddy the network of protection that came with his elite connections. It's like poking a bear, and when the bear decides you're no longer under its wing, the hunters come out. It's speculation, sure, but the timing is hard to ignore. Another voice that's spoken up loudly about Diddy is Jaguar Wright. She's claimed that Diddy may be connected to the mysterious deaths of some of his close associates. Kim is gone. Heavy D is gone. Andre Harrell is gone. The only ones left are Puffy and Al. And Al almost didn't make it. In a 2022 interview, she suggested there might be a pattern here, and asked bluntly if Diddy has ever had a near-death experience himself. Wright pointed out that many figures who were around during the Uptown Records days either passed under mysterious circumstances or faced serious health issues. Heavy D died in 2011 of a reported heart attack. Andre Harrell passed in 2020, also reportedly from a heart attack. And both, according to Wright, were allegedly working on books at the time of their deaths. Al B. Sure, Kim Porter's former partner, also reportedly went into a coma while writing his memoir, but he survived. And then there's Kim Porter, who was also rumored to be working on a book before her sudden death. Is this just a tragic series of coincidences, or something more chilling? That's the kind of thing that gets people connecting dots and wondering if there's a deeper pattern. Let's circle back to Kim Porter directly. If the allegations against Diddy about control, abuse, and manipulation are true, what does that suggest about his relationship with Kim, especially around the time of her passing? It's important to remember that, although their romantic relationship ended years before, the two remained tied through their children. But if Diddy really is the man described in these allegations, it paints a disturbing picture of someone who doesn't just let people walk away without consequences. That brings us to the alleged memoir attributed to Porter. One passage reportedly reads, "I got to do things with Shaw I'd never have done with a straight man. I left my room and saw Shaw coming out of another room with a chart-topping rapper and the woman's husband." The book also reportedly describes physical abuse, like the first time Diddy hit her after she refused one of his requests. or a violent episode at her apartment where he allegedly slammed her to the ground and threatened her with a weapon. "You're mine. You don't get a say in that. I can't live without you." If true, these claims echo the same disturbing dynamics that Cassie described in her lawsuit, depicting Diddy as someone dangerously obsessed with control, power, and domination.
This raises serious questions about whether Kim Porter's death might be tied to what she knew, or what she was planning to reveal. If the allegations in the disputed memoir are true, and Kim had experienced abuse at Diddy's hands, she may have been weighing the risks of speaking out. And if she really was preparing to share her story, as Al B. Sure has hinted, it would have been an incredibly brave, but possibly dangerous move. What's becoming more and more obvious is how this case is pulling back the curtain on the darker side of the music business and celebrity life. It's showing how power can be weaponized, how voices can be silenced, and how carefully constructed images can hide deeply troubling behavior. Diddy, once celebrated as the iconic founder of Bad Boy Records, is now in a much different spotlight. Now locked up in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, his final moments in jail have shed light on what life behind bars has really been like for him. Facing charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and exploitation, the lavish life he once led is gone, replaced by cold prison walls. According to his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's time behind bars since September 17, 2024, has been anything but easy. And the toughest part? It's not what you'd expect. Brooklyn's MDC, a federal facility that's housed several high-profile names, has a reputation for controversy, especially over poor living conditions and lack of proper medical care. For someone like Diddy, who's used to five-star service and luxury everything, adjusting to this new reality has been a major shock. The routine is strict. Wake-up call is at 6 a.m. Breakfast comes shortly after. Cereal, toast, fruit, and a breakfast. Cake. Compare that to the extravagant meals he was used to. Lunch hits at 11 a.m. and dinner follows the 4 p.m. head count. The food? Swedish meatballs, black bean burgers, egg noodles, green beans. Stuff that's a far cry from what he's used to. His lawyer says the food is one of the hardest parts of his time inside. And really, going from a luxury diet to bland, processed prison meals? That's not just a physical change, it's mental too. Prison food is often described as tasteless, repetitive, and low in nutrition. Diddy's used to gourmet chefs and carefully balanced meals.
Event. According to sources, David James, a former personal assistant.
That can be a serious issue, especially for someone like Diddy who takes his health and appearance seriously. But food isn't the only problem. MDC Brooklyn has also been slammed for being overcrowded. Inmates often share cramped spaces, a huge change for someone who's lived in massive estates. On top of that, there are serious concerns about the facility's medical care and mental health services, especially critical when dealing with the pressure of a high-stakes legal case. The stress, the isolation, and the uncertainty all add up fast. And here's another chilling detail. MDC Brooklyn is the same facility where Ghislaine, Maxwell, and R. Kelly were held, two other high-profile inmates with serious charges. It might look ordinary from the outside, but inside, it's a place known for violence, poor sanitation, and serious understaffing. Reports claim Diddy is being held in isolation, away from the general population. For now, we still don't know the exact date of Diddy's trial. But one thing is clear. He's eager to get out of that place. And honestly, given what's been reported, it's not even certain he'll make it to trial alive. That might sound dramatic, but remember what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, another alleged sex trafficker who mysteriously died in his cell before he could testify. The Metropolitan Detention Center, where Diddy is currently being held, has a documented history of violence and extremely poor conditions. There are even claims that his food has contained maggots. According to legal sources, at least 4 inmates have taken their own lives there in just the last 3 years. And earlier this year, an inmate was reportedly murdered. It's no wonder Diddy's legal team is urgently pushing for his release. Inmates have reported weekly stabbings, and one even claimed to witness a man getting stabbed in the eye with a makeshift weapon. Diddy's lawyers have spoken out about how dangerous the facility is, stressing how it's impacting both his mental and physical health. At one point, it was confirmed that Diddy was placed on suicide watch, a move that only heightened concerns around his current mental state. In response to these conditions, his legal team proposed a $50 million bond, backed by the equity in both his and his mother's Florida homes. They emphasized that Diddy had cooperated with authorities, handed over his passport, and even submitted those belonging to his mother and daughters to his legal counsel. Still, U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tanowski denied the bail request. That decision wasn't made lightly. It followed intense arguments from both the defense and the prosecution. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, leading the case, argued that Diddy posed a serious threat to the community if released, citing risks of witness intimidation and the possibility of continued criminal behavior. The prosecution pointed to Diddy's alleged issues with substance abuse and uncontrollable anger, saying those made him a risk even under strict home confinement. Their case was supported by a mountain of evidence, including digital records, testimonies from numerous witnesses and alleged victims, and data from devices belonging to Diddy and his reported accomplices. They argued that his wealth and influence in the industry gave him the power to potentially manipulate witnesses or obstruct justice, making release too risky. When Diddy appeared for his hearing at Manhattan Federal Court, it became a major media moment. His family's arrival drew huge public interest. Reporters, photographers, and curious onlookers gathered in crowds. His twin daughters, Delilah and Jessie Combs, both 17, were among the first to arrive, hand in hand, showing a mix of strength and anxiety. His mother, Janice Combs, also showed up, symbolizing the family's unity in the face of serious allegations. They filled 2 entire rows in the courtroom gallery, a bold and public show of support. Diddy, looking calm and composed, appeared to play up that family backing. As he left the 45-minute hearing, he blew a kiss to his mother and said, "I love you. I love you." But what exactly are the accusations that landed Diddy in this situation? The allegations and indictment in the months leading to his arrest on September 16, 2024, Diddy was quietly battling an increasingly tangled web of legal and personal troubles. Outwardly, he maintained the image of a successful mogul. But behind the scenes, red flags were beginning to surface. One of the major issues involved allegations of financial wrongdoing within his business empire. Federal investigators were reportedly combing through the books of several of Diddy's companies, including Bad Boy Records and Sean John. Claims of tax evasion and money laundering began making waves, suggesting possible misconduct on a large scale. These investigations were part of a wider federal crackdown on financial crimes in the entertainment industry, aimed at prominent figures suspected of engaging in illegal business practices. In addition to that, Diddy faced several lawsuits from former collaborators and business partners over intellectual property disputes. These included allegations of unpaid royalties and breach of contract. Not only did these lawsuits threaten his financial empire, they also began to tarnish his reputation as a fair and professional businessman. On the personal side, Diddy was also under mounting pressure to uphold his public image amid the growing scrutiny, both from authorities and the court of public opinion. Diddy's personal life and business dealings were being intensely scrutinized, with tabloids constantly buzzing about his private affairs. Reports of tension with former associates and even some family members only added fuel to the fire, painting a portrait of a man buckling under the weight of fame, legal woes, and personal chaos. Still, Diddy pushed forward. He maintained his public image of strength, staying active in music, dropping new projects, and collaborating with artists across various genres. His appearances at elite events and interviews were marked with confidence, as he tried to assure fans and partners that everything was under control. But behind that bold front, the federal investigation against him was gaining serious momentum. Sources close to the case revealed that investigators were building a detailed case around alleged financial crimes and potential ties to organized crime. Though the authorities were tight-lipped, it was evident something major was brewing. As pressure mounted, Diddy brought in a powerhouse legal team, some of the most sought-after attorneys in the country, to prepare for what looked like an unavoidable legal showdown. Then, in early September 2024, it all exploded. federal agents carried out multiple raids on Diddy-associated properties, seizing documents and electronics believed to contain damning evidence. The music industry was rocked as it became clear this wasn't just speculation. Things were getting very real.
On September 16, 2024, Diddy was arrested at his Los Angeles home by federal agents executing an official warrant. The arrest sent shockwaves across the country. Among the individuals who filed lawsuits against Diddy was Thalia Graves, the 11th woman to accuse him of non-consensual acts. In a lawsuit filed that same month, Graves claimed the assault took place in 2001 at Diddy's NYC recording studio. Then an up-and-coming artist, she says she was lured under the guise of a career opportunity, but things turned dark quickly. Graves alleges she was restrained and assaulted by Diddy and an employee, and worse, that the act was secretly recorded. The footage, according to her claim, was later sold as explicit content without her permission. Graves says the incident left her emotionally devastated, haunting her personally and professionally for decades. But that wasn't the end of it. Chaos. In an unexpected twist, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, the same man who once handed Diddy the keys to the city, was indicted on 5 counts. His time in office had already faced serious controversy, but now federal charges brought everything to a head. Whispers of trouble first emerged in early 2023, pointing to potential campaign finance violations. By mid-year, investigators were looking into alleged illegal donations tied to Turkey during his 2021 campaign. In late 2023, the probe heated up when agents seized devices from key officials, including Adams' chief fundraiser, Brianna Suggs. Then, on September 26, 2024, federal agents raided Gracie Mansion itself. The timing of Adams' legal troubles and Diddy's arrest had people speculating about deeper connections, and things got even messier when the deputy mayor and other top staffers suddenly resigned. Adding to the controversy, one old and explosive narrative returned: Diddy's alleged involvement in Tupac Shakur's death. Reopening such a high-stakes cold case comes with major legal hurdles, but Tupac's family made a bold move by bringing in famed attorney Alex Spiro, known for taking on massive high-profile cases. With Spiro now on board, there's renewed energy behind uncovering what really happened that night. The team is now digging into every detail. Past evidence, witness testimonies, and anything that may have been ignored over the years. A key point of interest: the shocking claims made by Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who previously alleged that Diddy paid him $1 million to have Tupac killed. The weight of this investigation runs deep, not just for Tupac Shakur's legacy, but for the entire hip-hop culture. If any connection between Diddy and Tupac's murder is ever confirmed, it could completely shift the narrative of one of the most iconic unsolved mysteries in music, turning long-standing beliefs on their head and changing how major figures in the game are viewed. One of the most shocking names tied to Diddy's legal troubles is music producer Lil Rod Jones. Lil Rod turned heads when he filed a staggering 100-page lawsuit packed with disturbing claims about Diddy, including grooming and several other criminal accusations involving both celebrities and close associates of the mogul. According to Rod, he's a musical genius whose talents were used to help shape major projects for top-tier artists. He says he first connected with Diddy in August 2022 after getting a call inviting him to work on Diddy's long-awaited album, The Love Album, Off the Grid. For an up-and-coming producer, this should have been a dream. Working with a music legend on their first album in nearly 2 decades. A massive opportunity. But according to Rod, that dream quickly became a nightmare. From September 2022 to November 2023, Rod claims he helped produce 9 tracks on the album. While the timeline seems standard, what's unusual is that Diddy allegedly made Rod live with him the entire time. That's right, Rod says he was practically confined to Diddy's space for over a year, missing birthdays, holidays, and key family moments. But what's even more disturbing is what he says happened during that time. Rod alleges he witnessed and experienced things no music producer should, ranging from exploitation and drug use to the serving of spiked alcohol to minors and more serious crimes. And Diddy wasn't the only one named. Among the big names is Oscar-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. The lawsuit alleges Diddy groomed Rod into having sexual interactions with Cuba, who reportedly groped him. Cuba, already facing multiple accusations of misconduct, responded, calling the claims ridiculous and part of the price of fame. Despite his denial, the lawsuit includes photos showing Cuba in intimate proximity with Lil Rod. Whoever's in the image bears a strong resemblance to Cuba, with his hands all over Rod, raising doubts about his innocence. But that's not all. Other names listed include world-renowned pastor Bishop T.D. Jakes. According to Rod's claims, Diddy tried to use the bishop's image to ease public backlash from the Cassie Ventura case. While this doesn't necessarily mean Jakes was involved in any crimes, it left many questioning his appearance at Diddy's notorious parties, like the viral 2022 video of him at Diddy's 53rd birthday bash, even without the illegal allegations. Diddy's parties were known for being wild, excessive, and controversial, so for a respected pastor to be seen at such a party raised eyebrows. A spokesperson for Jakes later claimed he only made a brief stop due to being in town. The sexual nature of Diddy's infamous parties, called freak-offs, has been a central theme in many of the lawsuits. Former security guard Gene Deal once said the wild stuff used to be hidden, but now it's all in the open. According to him, someone like the bishop wouldn't have missed the crazy stuff going on. Gene recalled moments like men with men, women with women, and all kinds of adult behavior that left little to the imagination. And then there are the names that haven't even been revealed. Since Lil Rod's lawsuit dropped in February, rumors have pointed to Meek Mill as one of the redacted identities. Fueling the speculation was a leaked audio allegedly of Diddy and Meek in a compromising situation. Meek has strongly denied everything, saying the two things they say, we snitching or we gay. We generating on hundreds of millions from music. It's not a coincidence we all gay and snitches. While he tries to downplay the rumors, many believe Meek's silence on the specifics speaks volumes. Cassie, who also sued Diddy, opted for an out-of-court settlement, but she's far from the only celebrity caught in this web. Rod's lawsuit also mentions Young Miami and her cousin in a disturbing section that details an incident on November 23, 2022. Rod describes a chaotic studio session with music blasting, people partying, and drugs being passed around. He says Diddy, allegedly intoxicated, offered him cocaine, which he refused. Stepping away to the bathroom for some air, Rod says he was followed by Young Miami's cousin, reportedly her assistant. According to the documents, she groped him without consent and tried to initiate oral sex. Rod claims Diddy sent her in, which suggests a setup. Shocked, he pushed her away and tried to leave, but she followed him, undressing and attempting to have sex in front of Diddy and his crew. Rod managed to escape, but the trauma stayed. That part of the lawsuit has yet to reach a legal conclusion, and Diddy hasn't received a formal judgment. And just when you think it couldn't get crazier, Jason Lee made headlines after claiming he saw both Jay-Z and T.D. Jakes at a private event at Diddy's mansion. He said he didn't witness anything shady, but just name-dropping those two was enough to send social media into a frenzy. Since Diddy's arrest, both Jay-Z and Jakes have been suspiciously silent. Silence that many think speaks volumes. Even Khloe Kardashian admitted to attending one of Diddy's wild freak-off parties, telling the story on Keeping Up with the Kardashians back in 2014. She recalled getting on a flight at 5:30 a.m. saying, half the people there were naked. She even said that's where she first met Justin Bieber. With so many stars confirming the nature of Diddy's parties, the question remains, will Diddy finally face jail time? Or will he walk away untouched once again?